Los Altos originally.
Yep.
Bay Area. Moved down here in '78, so I've been here for a long time and practiced a few years up in the Bay Area. You know, saw the Silicon Valley growth as a reason to get out of Dodge. And came down here, raised 3 boys, Monterey High grads all.
Oh, good.
And, yeah.
Are they in the legal profession?
My oldest one went to law school, but he's the assistant general manager of the Rockies now.
Wow.
And my middle son also works for the Rockies. He's in charge of their Latin players after having spent some time in Guatemala in the Peace Corps.
I've always had that desire to do PR for a Major League Baseball team. Never got to it.
I'll tell you what, I'm living vicariously through my sons. The Rockies are doing well.
They are. They predict to be a good team this year.
Yeah,
the experts.
I can't tell my son this, but I did put a little money on the Rockies. And
you did? Good.
Yeah, he says, you can't tell me that, Dad. Yeah.
But that ball flies in that ballpark, doesn't it?
The ball flies.
Pitchers have a lot of problems there,
Pitchers do have a lot of problems with that. But the team is doing well. They're in first place in the West right now, so keep my fingers crossed.
What's their record? I didn't check.
I think they're 11-6.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And
Dave and I we follow the A's.
Yeah, I heard that.
We take a beating on the Monterey Peninsula because everyone and his brother is a Giants fan.
Well, they're front runners, you know.
Yeah, right. We go with the underdog.
I was a sports agent in another life.
Oh, good.
In fact, Pete Incaviglio was a client.
Okay.
And Tony as well.
Well, they played with my son, Michael, here.
Oh, okay.
My oldest boy lives in Vegas. They were all-stars here.
Got it. Well,
Peter went to Monterey High. My son went to Carmel High.
Yeah. The baseball is my first love. So I mean, I'm an A's fan as well. But
it's like we have Mike Aldretti on the show several times, and he says, I play for the Giants, play for the A's. I'm just a Bay Area fan.
Yeah, that's the way I am. Yeah. I saw Mike the other day when I was in Arizona. The Rockies were playing the A's.
Yeah,
he
gets a lot of TV time.
First
yes, he does.
First base.
I see him all the time. I'm like, hey, there's Mikey. Hey, there's Mikey. My wife's like, I know, there's Mikey, guys.
I gave him a little crap for putting on a few lbs. You know?
Exactly. Hey, we were talking earlier about this Bumgardner thing, and about the fact that shouldn't there be some sort of clause in the contract?
There is.
They do have a clause.
There is. There's certain activities that you are not supposed to do, and if you get injured as a player in a non-baseball activity, there's 3 things a team can do. They can terminate your contract, actually.
Wow.
They can make a guaranteed contract a non-guaranteed contract.
After the accident.
After the accident. Or third, they can dock you for the pay that you're not, during the period of time you're not playing. None of which ever happens, especially with a star like Bumgardner.
Yeah.
Bumgardner.
So no fine or anything?
No, I mean, those are the 3 options. So they have the option of not paying him. In Bumgardner's case, it's, $4 or $5 million that he would be missing if he was out for 2 months. So it would be pretty significant. But he's so underpaid, and he's the face of the franchise along with Posey. So they're not going to be.
You think he's underpaid?
Oh yeah, he's getting paid $12 million.
Oh my goodness,
a year for the next 2 years.
And some of the guys in the league who are less important than he are making $20 million.
Well, Kershaw's making $200 million.
Yeah, right.
Not a year, but his contract in a couple of years he'll be making that kind of money. But that kind of injury to your pitching shoulder, you never know. I mean,
how do you feel about that, Bob? Should he have been on the motorcycle?
Absolutely not. But these guys think they're Supermen.
Yeah,
they're never going to get injured. It's like raising kids, and the kids think they're never going to get hurt,
right?
And then when they do, but he never should have been doing that. And he feels like he's invincible. Well, now he knows better.
What's your specialty in law? What do you do?
Trial work.
Trial?
Yeah.
Tell us about everyone knows, I think, pretty much about it, but tell us about the Chelsea Hill thing and all that.
That was that's why I went to law school, for that trial. It was a real experience, taking on a national firm.
Because Toyota's probably got a few lawyers, and they don't like to lose.
They had 5 lawyers there, and from around the country. And the lead lawyer had just been named the top defense trial lawyer in the country the year before. And so they really came in with a sense of arrogance, and thought we were small town.
You love that too, don't you?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And that's pretty standard, You get these guys from L.A.
Hot shots.
They think they're coming into Monterey.
What are
we're in the
these guys
sticks.
know?
Yeah,
exactly. It was quite an experience. And of course the result was excellent. So I'll never forget it.
That's good for you. Yeah. That's really awesome. Take the Toyota.
Do you get new jobs, more jobs? Since that time, because of your expertise.
Yeah, I have. It's been a good experience and a good result, and I've since that time merged with Jeff Gillis's firm, and they didn't have a litigation component, so I brought all my team over to Jeff's firm, and we're doing the litigation.
Now, when you bring a team over, how many do you bring over?
We had there were 6 lawyers and a staff of another 4 people, so we had 10 people that joined them.
So let me ask you a question, because we were both in the same building. Are you still in that building?
No.
Right? Okay, you moved over to...
moved over to Jeff. Jeff, LG has a office in Salinas. We do have an office in Monterey on Cass.
Right.
I mean on El Dorado.
El Dorado, yeah.
And then we also have an office in Hollister.
Is Nick Lombardo with you? Is he in your office?
No.
Oh,
no.
He's in a different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean Nick's son, Tony?
You mean Tony?
I mean Tony.
Because Nick's not around at any office
sorry.
right now.
Tony used to be with Jeff. Tony retired and has since come out of retirement. He's a private practice.
Oh, okay.
And
because he was, I saw him when he was going to school at Santa Clara. He used to come on weekends and study at the golf course there.
Sorry about that, Nick. Sammy didn't mean that.
I blew that.
Yeah.
Hey, after my birthday, it's a wonder I'm able to speak this week.
Nick was one of the good guys.
Yeah, he was. Totally.
Yeah, he was.
So, I used to see Bob walking the halls there at 787 Munris, because the Convention and Visitors Bureau is there. So, share that same thing with the Armanasco's team is there, and you guys, and...
Yeah, the firm, the remaining attorneys are still there. Tom Bonin, my old partner, is still there, but I took my team out of there.
Yeah. So the firm that you guys have put together with Jeff, it's quite diverse as far as handling just an array of different things.
That was the concept. We wanted to put together a firm that took care of everybody's needs, and so we've got attorneys that do contracts. We've got attorneys that do cannabis law.
We had him on.
We had him on the air.
Yeah, we've got litigators, and Jeff's quite the politician, and when it comes to that,
right?
So I think we've got everything covered. So regardless of what your needs are, whether you're in a car accident, or whether you just need a contract drafted, or whether you're in partnership dispute with a partner.
What would you say is the most popular legal problem right now, if you were to pick one that people have?
I'd say personal injury still.
Automobile
accidents and that type of thing is still pretty. If I had to say one category, we do in our firm, we do probably more business than anything else, business related, but it might be business litigation too. So we have a client who's in a dispute with another partner or another corporation, and that type of litigation, commercial litigation, we do a lot of commercial litigation. Personal injury is just a portion of what we do.
So walk us through the steps real quick, how it works. Someone gets hurt on the job, they call you guys, then what happens?
Well, if they call us, they come on in, we interview them, and of course there's no charge for the initial interview.
They give you all the particulars.
Right, we have them bring in everything. We make the decision of what's important. Oftentimes people think, I don't need to bring this in, but we make sure they bring in everything. We go through it, try to go through it ahead of time, and then evaluate whether or not they have a case.
Well, you do that, huh?
Oh, yeah, you got to
tell some people you don't have a case.
Oh, all the
time.
They
walk out
all the time.
Oh, really?
And that's because you don't want to take
waste
a case.
Your time
well, it's not just waste our time; it's waste their time and money as well. And there are cases that have good facts, but the law might not be in your favor.
Right.
And there are cases where you've got the law in your favor and you got bad facts. Chelsea Hill's case was a real good example. We had some bad facts there where you had a bunch of drunk teenagers driving a car. So the initial thought with most people,
of course,
was, well, they're at fault.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right,
They're driving the car. And they don't think about the fact that the reason you have seatbelts in a car is to protect people from themselves, And
so if you've got a lap belt only,
right,
and you jackknife over it.
Well, and in that case, we had 5 kids in the car, the 4 kids that had shoulder harnesses walked away from this accident, and the one that had the lap belt was paralyzed. And Toyota knew for years and years and years the danger of the lap belt, but they wanted to advertise the vehicle as a 5-passenger vehicle so they could get more for it. And in order to do that, they had to have a seat belt in there, and they didn't want to spend the extra $20 for the shoulder harness.
That's so interesting, that whole trial and everything. What can you tell us a little bit about maybe the turning point, or what happened as far as you knew, I've got these guys now?
I'd say the turning point was, it was a close trial. It could have gone either way, because getting the right jury was the first and most important thing. We had a jury consultant that I brought in to help us select the jury, but the turning point was in the middle of the trial. It dawned on me that I should be looking at the owner's manuals for vehicles prior to our vehicle. Our vehicle is a 96 4Runner. And so it dawned on me that I'd looked at that vehicle's owner's manual and subsequent owner's manual, but I hadn't looked at older ones. So there's a company on the East Coast in Massachusetts that accumulates all of this automobile stuff. And so I called them in the middle of the trial to see if they had an owner's manual from the prior platforms. So cars are manufactured in platforms, and so usually a car doesn't change much for a period of 5 to 7 years.
So that's the platform.
That's the platform period. So ours was a 96 car that came into being in 91, 92. So it's the same platform. So I got a Toyota Corolla. He sent me a Toyota Corolla owner's
manual. What year is it?
From 1987. Okay. So it was the prior platform.
Right.
And it was before the federal government required shoulder harnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, before that.
So that's why I wanted to look at it, because I figured, well, let's look and see what they said about the seatbelts in those cars. And sure enough, in that owner's manual was this warning that said, if you don't use a shoulder harness, you could get paralyzed in a front end collision.
There was the case.
Well, and the kicker was that the reason Toyota did that was because they were selling as an option these shoulder harnesses that you could retrofit your car with for $200 a pop. That were costing them $20.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they wanted to sell them. So they were trying to scare the consumer into buying them. So sure enough, here's this warning. Exactly the same accident we had, a few years later. So then I called the guy and I said, "Do you happen to have the books for every vehicle they had?" And he said, "Yeah, we do." So he sent me all 8 of them, and they're experts on the stand, and he's talking about how safe this vehicle is, and that no warning was necessary. And so I take out he doesn't know I have these books because I get them. Because I get them in the middle of trial. I don't have to disclose them.
Right, exactly.
So I go up and I said, "Well, sir, isn't this a warning?" And he said, "No, that's not a warning. That's just talking about seatbelts. It's not a warning." And it was in big, bold red print,
Yeah.
And so I said, "Well, wouldn't this apply to our car? Wouldn't this show you that our car was dangerous in this one seatbelt?" And he said, no, I wouldn't show that. And besides, it's a Corolla, and your car was a 4Runner. So I went through every vehicle, showed him each one, and each time he said, "It's not a 4Runner. It's not a 4Runner."
So then you showed him.
Then I showed him the 4Runner, and there was this pregnant pause of about 45 seconds before I could speak. Oh yeah.
Excuse me, I got to go.
I wish I was there.
It was good. It was good. And that was, and we won 12-0 on failure to warn, and I think that was why, because they had previously warned, so that means they knew about it.
They knew about
the danger.
Right.
And then they failed to warn in the 96 vehicle, our vehicle, even though they still had a lap belt. And the reason they took it out was because now the law required the shoulder harnesses, so they couldn't make any money on it, so I put it in.
Well, let me ask you this. After you take the hotshots down from L.A., what do they say? I mean, what's their demeanor? What is their...
Actually, the guy who was the lead attorney for them was a really good guy. He played a lot of games, tried a lot of crap, tried tried to pull a lot of crap.
Yeah.
When we first walked in, it was like out of a movie set. You know, they had
Is that right?
big television screens throughout the courtroom. The jury had their own screen. The judge had his own screen. All the lawyers had their own screen. And then there was a big 64-inch one for the audience. And they had a guy sitting in the audience with it was like a soundboard. And his name was Tom.